Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What I got for you today is the 2026 Road Apple Roubaix. And this is, for me, this is my first gravel race. So I'm really excited to be here. There's got to be at least 500 riders here for this event today. And it was a beautiful day. I mean, this isn't something that I've ever done before. Obviously, it's my first one. It's my first ever gravel race. My first time even really being in this area on a bike. And I mean, they go right from the start. It's a lot of the normal culprits that you have at every race, and it's just a different bike and a different road surface. I don't know why I thought it was more of like a laid back scene. We'd have a beer mid ride, like, I've been told all, season after season, Joe, you got to get into these gravel races. You got to do these gravel rides. They're so much fun. Everybody should come and do these. You'd really like it. And yeah, I'm going to ruin the end of this video. I did like it. It was a lot of fun. It's a reason to get out on a bike. It was a beautiful day. I saw the forecast. I signed up. I said this will get me 50 miles in for the day. This will be great. And I'm going to enjoy doing it. And when I got there, as you see, these guys in my video were there. You had a huge showing from the Summit Freewheelers, one of my favorite teams to race with, one of my favorite teams to ride with. I haven't met a Summit Freewheeler I didn't like. And as you see here in my video, they brought the Aero onesies, they brought the Aero gravel bikes, and they did a number on this peloton. You can also see in my video another one of my favorite teams, the Visit Pittsburgh guys. Really strong riders. We ride with them down at the Oval quite a bit down in Pittsburgh for the ACA series down there. And you see one of my teammates right in front of me. He's a great rider, good guy. We had a couple of guys in the peloton with us, and this video is only about 20 minutes long. That's about where I lose the peloton. That's about where the end of the content really is. You lose this big fun crowd. Like I said, we started off with 500 people. About 190 were doing the 50 miler. And as we go in and out of this video here, you're going to see about 100 of those guys. So hopefully you're one of those guys. Hopefully you got a little bit of time on video. And as far as my other teammates right now, one of them has been on the front the entire time. If I'm not mistaken, I looked at his numbers, and I don't know if he wants me sharing this on the internet or not, but he went out the first 5 minutes at about 400 watts, and it wasn't like just a smooth time trial 400. It was bounced back and forth between 2 and 800 really. And on the downhills, the draft was great. On the flat, the draft was pretty nice. On the uphill, I don't think I was the only one suffering. I really don't. And you can see I'm peeking out here. I'm towards the front. I got about 10 riders or so in front of me. The entire peloton behind me, and I'm trying to peek out. I know I have cameras on my bike. I know that I'm going to be posting these videos online, so I do want to try to give the best vantage point I can, and it costs me a little bit of draft, and you can see it's costing me watts right now. Funny story, I had just did a factory reset on my computer for this screen recording purpose. I was having a little bit of trouble, and at the start line, I had to reconnect all my sensors. I didn't realize, my sensors weren't connected. And, I felt like I grabbed mine. I felt like I grabbed my heart rate monitor. I felt like I grabbed my my power meter. And as I'm watching my power meters, you're probably watching it too. I'm like, those can't be my numbers. Like, I'd be dead already. Like, 360 normalized, 313. I'm like, heart rate's almost 170. I'm like, I must be picking up somebody else, somebody who has much more fitness than me. Because if I tried to do this for 50 miles, somebody's going to come pick me up, I think. Yeah. Again, I'm going to go ahead and ruin the end of this video. It's short anyways. Mile 41, I did call for a ride. There's no point in me creating content for the internet and sharing this with the world if I'm not honest with you guys. 41 miles in, I cramped up so bad I thought I tore my hamstring. I got off the bike at the top of the hill. I felt bad for myself for about 2 minutes. You can see that on Strava in my elapsed time. And then I got back on and soft pedaled back. I ended up somewhere around, if I'm not mistaken, 21st place out of the 190. And I'll take it for a first race. I'm not going to say I had high or low expectations. I wanted to do a gravel race, and it was my first one. After being dropped by the peloton, we did continue to gain Me and a teammate worked together to continue to catch and gain other dropped riders from the peloton here. And the best possible outcome really would have been, if I didn't have that cramp, would have been about 15th place. Again, after the 20-minute marker, there was no additional real content for me to keep pushing the video for. I think my cameras might have been covered in complete road apples at this point, and probably weren't going to work anyways. As you see, we had a pretty wet surface. Where I live, it was bone dry, but we got up in Garrettsville and it was wet, and the gravel was wet, and that made it fun. It really did. It gave it the gravel experience, because let's be real, if the roads were dry and the gravel was compact, you really would have been questioning, like, could I have done this on a road bike with just a little bit more tire, But like, I'm glad it still had the gravel feel, and we were on a lot of paved roads. This race is great for a beginner, first timer, and it draws out a lot of beginners and first timers, and it draws out a lot of people who don't mind stopping and having a beer, during the race. Hindsight, I should have. I should have. But here I am. I'm still trying to keep up. You see, we're doing 30 mile an hour out here. It's a 2% downhill, 31 mile an hour. But like, I'm seriously questioning, like, is my bike even geared for this speed? Like, and you're gonna see as the video pushes on, like, I think we get well into the mid 30s, and I was running out of gear. Another thing that I was not prepared for, and I want to say that it's right after this turn. These more experienced riders, they get onto gravel and they get onto a hill and they just absolutely hammer. And no, this isn't the gravel road, and that caught me completely off guard. We're on asphalt. We're on something I always race on, and I got some nice tires on the bike, so I wasn't. You see, I got to go around a few people who are just like, fuck this too. You can see the Visit Pittsburgh guys are just comfortable. They all, I think almost all of them placed in the top 10. The Summit Freewheelers, like I said, they pretty much dominated that top 10, that top 15. And, they're the ones up in the front. There's a couple on my wheel back here behind me. Again, I'm trying to bump out to the left. I am losing a little bit of draft here doing that, but I did want the cameras to catch the riders, to, give everybody their shot in the video, because people do actually watch these, and it's fun for everybody. But these guys on the front, and that's about where I'm at. These guys on the front, they're pushing a pace. They're pushing it, and I want to say that their final average was somewhere around 21 mile an hour average for a gravel race for 50 miles, and that's kudos to them. That's impressive. I was impressed. The whole day was something. It took me about a day to come up with and make this video, because I kind of got to narrate what had gone on here for just even the 18 minutes of this, and 2.5 hours of racing. It's hard to summarize the important parts in just 20 minutes. It's hard to come up with all the words and all the events. I can tell you, I wasn't the only one that cramped up. I saw other riders walking up the hills. I don't know if it's an early season thing. I don't know if it was just a warmer day and maybe we weren't all hydrated. But if I was going to say there's a number one culprit, I would say it was the way that this race started out. I would say it was the first 5 minutes. You see my power numbers are actually starting to come down to, and if you paid any attention to my other videos, this average 260 with like a 315 normalized, that's something that could fly all day. But I already took those body shots I told you guys about in the crit races, where you spike your watts too many times, especially too early, and that lactate doesn't clear, and I think that's part of the reason why my race ended at about mile 6, was because I had a negotiation with myself, and I'm like, am I gonna go 50 miles continuing to do this? And I would say I would have lost sleep over it if maybe I hadn't cramped. And I'll tell you, they got even worse when I got home. I started making the video actually, and I think both my hamstrings locked up on me while I was sitting in a chair. I ended up on the ground rolling around for a little bit. that was hard to explain to the wife. You know, but again, it's a part of racing. It's part of exercising. It happens, and I doubt I was the only one. You know, that's when you know you put it all out there. That's when you know you gave it your all. So like, I didn't lose any sleep over the part where I let the peloton go at about mile 6, mile 7. You know, I don't have any real regrets. I don't have any second guessing on whether or not I could have hung with those guys. The answer is no, I couldn't have. Not on this day, not on this ride, not on this course. And you know, I have a lot more work to do as far as a gravel race goes, or even on my gravel bike. Maybe after South Carolina, when I might just have more work to do in general in racing. There we go. Okay, so this is the fun part. This is where I need some work because we get, oh no, they called out gravel in the video. It was just loose gravel on the turn. We're not on a gravel road yet. I'm gonna let the video keep running until we get on a gravel road. That way you guys know, the great people of the internet know that there really was gravel here. We weren't just on gravel bikes because it rained. And as you see, I'm still with this front pack. You know, I'm still not real comfortable with saying everybody's names on video. Some people might not like that. Yeah, I know pretty much all these guys by name, and yeah, I talked to them before and after races. And this is what I was talking about. We're doing 35 mile an hour now, and this is on a 1% down, and we're on gravel bikes. Like, this isn't, these aren't road bikes. They don't have a 54 tooth chain ring in the front. I don't think anybody's, I was looking around, you know. Some guys are on single speed, or single gears in the front. There's no shifter on the front. They're just on a small ring with like 13 gears. They're ready to climb hills, and you know, some of the guys you're seeing getting dropped right now in the back of this video, it had nothing to do with strength. There goes Corey. I just went past Corey. So Corey led out this race up until almost this point right here. So the pace of this race, the watts that were out, was completely his fault. And he's a super strong rider. He was just letting the back of the peloton come around, and then he was going to get back in the draft. That's a good strategy for somebody to catch their second wind. But you know, that this was all him. This was all him. And now it's these guys. Now it's these guys. These really strong racers, these really strong riders are going to take advantage of this opportunity that Corey led them out on, and they're all going to start attacking. And we went over some team strategies in my last video on the crit race. These guys are going to take their turns. The Visit Pittsburgh guys are, you know, racing for each other. If I'm not mistaken, one of the Visit Pittsburgh guys did win, and one of the Summer Freewheelers came in second. Again, I'm not super comfortable saying people's names, but their teams had a great showing. Their teams are off the front right now, and it's everybody chasing. Okay, so we're starting to get into, no, we're not. That's the third time I was wrong on that. It's just a lackluster road. It's still not a gravel road. I can tell you at this point right now, though, there's the gravel. Okay, so these guys take off on this. Like, to me, I'm like, all right, we'll all slow down because you know, it's going to be a little bit looser. We're going to be bouncing around. It's going to be muddy. And there were sections of this race, especially towards the end. We did like last 5 miles on crushed limestone, and it was soup. It was quicksand. It was fun. That was probably the most enjoyable part of the race, really. But I did like this. It just caught me off guard that everybody got out of saddle and shot off. And you see, I'm still doing over 20 mile an hour. I'm still over 300 watts. And I wasn't expecting it. I just really wasn't. It caught me completely off guard. And this is probably like reason 2 why my race with the front of the peloton ended. It was because, well, I've never rode aggressively on gravel before. And these guys obviously have. Kudos to them again. You know, not only are they strong and they show up for all these races and do these races and they all race well all the time. You know, I call my friends. They're just as easily my arch nemesis. You know, but you got to give credit where credit is due. They did the thing and I didn't. I'm throwing watts to the wind right now, just trying to catch back on, trying to be a part of this race. And I'm on an uncomfortable surface for me. This isn't my norm, and I'm hoping right here that I get onto this paved road that I'm going to jump back in, get into the draft here, because I was kind of out of the draft there for a solid minute or two. I was just nervous. But, you know, these guys right here kind of sat up in front of me, and then we take another turn, and I think we're right back on gravel, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, no, we're not. Okay. This probably isn't where I let it go yet. So I'd probably give a push here soon to try to catch back onto this peloton. And there they go, 300, 400 watts. Trying to. Anyways, I want to be in the draft. That's a much more comfortable spot for somebody that doesn't have a very high FTP. And again, they're hammering. I'm doing almost 30 mile an hour on flat. You see the grade at the bottom says 0. And this is on a gravel bike. And you know, it's really just not enough. I'm trying, and I'm not getting there. And this isn't anything but phenomenal racing off the front. This is a great strategy to get rid of anybody and everybody who didn't deserve to be there. And that's myself included. I lost the draft in the gravel and never got it back. I would say this is the point where, you know, I know these riders, and I would like to ride with them at least, because the more people you stay together with, the more people you can work with. And again, I'm still a little hesitant on a turn here, and I believe we're getting close to where I just cut out the video because I was still letting riders ride away from me. You see my rearview mirror too. I don't have much work with behind me anymore either. So I ended up in a spot where my teammate Dirk caught me with 2 other riders, and me and Dirk worked together to catch these guys that I'm behind right now. I let them get away, and then we catch them, and you know, a couple of riders fell off. Then we caught a couple more guys, another Summit Freewheeler, another Cleveland Cycling Academy gentleman, and we worked together for a little while. We made a push to chase down a Kelly Benefits rider, or a Kelly, no, don't quote me on that, Kelly Akers from West Virginia. This is my teammate Corey. He's a big, strong man still. I mean, even if he went out too strong, too hard, too fast, he puts in a hell of a dig here to go get that peloton, and he, you know, finishes, you know, somewhere in the top 15. You know, he's done a few gravel rides. He's somebody I should have went with right here when he launches. And like I said, I worked together with those guys almost through the whole middle section of the race, you know, mile 10 to about mile 41, you know, when I cramped up. And then from, you know, 41 back to 50, I was solo. And like I said, that was really enjoyable scenery. I'd really like to see this when it's all in bloom, when all the trees are green. That limestone path, probably super cool on a gravel bike, especially when it's not quicksand. But even as quicksand, even as it was a little soupy, was, you know, it was still fun. It was still, you're still on bikes on a beautiful day. I can't stress this enough. It was 70 degrees in the beginning of March. I don't think you could beat that. This race last year was in the 20s, winter weather advisory, if I'm not mistaken. People had to get off their bikes and beat their derailleurs to knock the ice off them so their bike could even go. And, you know, completely opposite experience this year. Although it sounds like if you're out on the course for a little bit longer than everybody else, you might have had to duck from a tornado. The Weather Channel hasn't verified that yet, but that sounds sketchy. This is about the end of the video. This is right before I end it. Just wanted to give a quick update on how that went. Had a video to upload. Want to thank everybody that put on this race. You know, one person I do know by name, Janet, does a great job with everything that she does with a lot of enthusiasm, brings a lot of riders back every year. I hope they keep doing this, and that's going to be all from me.